Okay, well, last week, you will recall, we saw Nick Martin with a very heavily damaged car, and Nick's been very busy over the week working to repair it, and he brings the Virginia Diamond Drilling Escort onto pole position on the start line for the first round this weekend. And you will note, as you look at Nick in the car in these very snowy conditions, what's been nicknamed the toast rack up there in front of his windscreen. Well, if the conditions get very bad, they will stream jets of water onto his windscreen to help keep it clear. And, well, in conditions such as these, that might well be necessary. Over on the right-hand side of the grid, we have the reigning Lytton Hill champion, local driver Vic Moyce from Sidcup with his Ford Fiesta, and any moment now they break clean, and it looks like Mike Shield who's been left on the start line. Mike Shield left behind on the start line, and it's Brian Peacock with Terry Sowden making a very good run. Terry Sowden making a good run up the outside, but it indeed is Nick Martin who has got the initial lead from Brian Peacock's Fiat X19. Then comes Vic Moyce, then Terry Sowden. John Waghorn coming through well with the Citroën Visa as they come into the S's for the first time. And it is Nick Martin, 184 in the lead from 53 Brian Peacock as they slither their way out of the notorious S's. Doug Thompson at the end of the field, but coming into the Druids Hairpin for the first time, it's Nick Martin from Brian Peacock, Vic Moyce, John Waghorn moving up very well with the Visa. Those four cars well clear now as they come into Langley's Gap for the first time, and along the notorious knife edge where it is very, very slippery indeed. But Nick Martin really is going extremely well as he comes along up onto the top of Hoppy's Drop with Brian Peacock tucked right in there beside him, and Vic Moyce and John Waghorn almost side by side over the top of Hoppy's Drop they come, and it's still very, very close between the leading 7 cars, all tightly bunched. Terry Sowden's Escort not liking the conditions dropping back, but up front Nick Martin now eventually overtaken by the farmer from Thirsk in Yorkshire, number 53, Brian Peacock it is. Brian Peacock through with the Fiat X19 for Nick Martin, Vic Moyce, John Waghorn, Trevor Reeves moving in there very well in the Dove Group car, with Bob Smith now trailing the order with his Escort, but Peacock going extremely well. The mid-engine configuration of the little Fiat X19 proving extremely effective in these very slippery conditions, and it is still Brian Peacock leading with Vic Moyce up now into second place, and Trevor Reeves and coming in to have a little very close look there at Nick Martin and paying the penalty. Trevor dropping down the order, still Dougie Thompson trailing the field, but up front Vic Moyce is back into the leading position. 366 Vic Moyce for 53 Brian Peacock as they come round into the knife edge to go into the commencement of their last, into lap number 2. Lap number 2, Vic Moyce takes the lead. Vic Moyce now leading, 2 laps to go. Over the top of Hoppy's Drop, Vic Moyce still holding the advantage, but only just from Brian Peacock, number 53, John Waghorn now into 3rd place. John Waghorn up into 3rd. You'll recall that John did very, very well in our earlier rounds with an outright victory with the Citroën Visa. He's in there in 3rd place having a look, but it's still the Lytton champion, the builder from Sidcup, Vic Moyce holding the advantage from Brian Peacock. John Waghorn a good close 3rd. Those 3 cars getting well clear now as they go up onto the top and tumble downhill and begin the descent into the S's. Still Vic Moyce from Brian Peacock, John Waghorn coming up to try and get alongside the Yorkshireman, can't quite do it at the moment. And it is still 366 Vic Moyce, 53 Brian Peacock, 122 John Waghorn, but Peacock spinning out there to rejoin just in front of Nick Martin, causes a lot of troubles there for Nick Martin. So now Vic Moyce a fairly comfortable leader. Moyce a comfortable leader from John Waghorn. Nick Martin back into the race to rejoin, now well down the order, but as Vic Moyce comes through to go into his last lap, the Belmont Windows car leading John Waghorn. John closing up very quickly now. The pushrod Fiesta of Vic Moyce still holding off the left-hand drive Visa of John Waghorn. Up now into 3rd place has come surely Trevor Reeves. Reeves, I think, now into 3rd place with the pushrod Fiesta. Trevor, who was 3rd in his class in Group A in the European Series in 1986, up now into 3rd place behind John Waghorn. And I would imagine that Trevor is running on Michelin Boris tyres, which are giving him very, very good traction here in these conditions. And I think Trevor Reeves is very much the man to watch here at the moment. Trevor Reeves coming in to have a very close look now. Maybe goes into the S's a little bit too quickly, loses a bit on the approach into the S's. and slithering a bit wide on the exit as they come up into Druids for the last time. It's John Waghorn going through into the lead. John Waghorn starting round 4 in a similar fashion to the way that he started round 1, and that will be with victory. One wonders if he can hold it to the flag, because Mick Moyce is still very close in there. But as they come through Langley's Gap towards the checkered flag, it's the Londoner with the Citroën Visa taking victory. 1-2-2. John Waghorn wins it. In second place, Mick Moyce. Third place, he's going to be Trevor Reeves. Those 3 cars a long way clear, but a good victory for John Waghorn.
Yes, 10 more points for John Waghorn then, and he's still well in the hunt for one of the minor places in next week's final.
Well, we've seen the Will Gollop motorhome in the paddock and the relaxed side of the family. Now we see the tension on Will Gollop's face as the Metro stands on the 3rd row of the start line, the current championship leader, with a lot to do, and of course the man he's still got to beat is over on the other side of the 3rd row of the grid, down there on the inside, and that's John Welsh. John, what do you feel you've got to do here at the start?
Let's make our mind up now which side of this lot we're going to go. Probably help if I put it in the right gear, so right, up come the revs, to wait for the orange now. Red, 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 red.
And as they come away off the start line, we can see John Welsh moving his way through the order, all crossed up. Oh dear, John trying to get through the field. Restricted conditions causes problems, and the reigning champion is stationary on the start line. The race goes on, and it's Dimi Mavropoulos who's in the lead. Dimi Mavropoulos from Will Gollop. Colin Richards up into 3rd place. Then comes Mick Quaife in 4th. Roger Newbold, but it's Dimi Mavropoulos, the Blackbird, who is leading. Dimi, who has seen John Welsh there out of the car. John looking a little bit worse for wear, but the race going on, and it is John Welsh leading from Will Gollop in 2nd place. Mick Quaife up now into 3rd. Then comes Colin Richards in 4th. Colin Richards in 4th place as they come along the knife edge for the first time, and it's Dimi Mavropoulos in the black Audi Quattro being hounded by championship leader Will Gollop. You'll see that Will got his wipers working furiously there because of the spray being flung up from the Quattro's rear wheels, causing vision troubles. Mick Quaife still holding 3rd, but a very sideways Will Gollop coming up into contention as they come down the Cooper Straight into the very tight left and right hand flick of the chicane before they ascend up the hill to the top of Paddock Turn. Mick Quaife 3rd, Colin Richards 4th, then Roger Newbold 5th, then Dave Phillipson. But Will Gollop taking a very wide line into Paddock Turn to try and get on terms with Dimi Mavropoulos, but Dimi still holding the advantage. They come through the S's at the bottom of Tumbledown Hill. Mick Quaife coming in 3rd. Of course, we've still no news of what's happened to John Welsh, the championship leader. There he is, John Welsh. His car still parked down on the start line, obviously needing troubles. But up front is still Dimi Mavropoulos, number 8 from Will Gollop. No change of leadership, but still a very, very close race indeed as they come along the knife edge to complete 1.5 laps, 2 laps to go, and Will Gollop still trying to find a way past the Cypriot driver and making his challenge as they go onto the top of Hobby Strop, and Will Gollop goes into the lead. Will Gollop up now into the lead from Dimi Mavropoulos. Still Mick Quaife from Tunbridge there in 3rd place. Colin Richards getting a good drive in the 2-wheel drive Porsche, but it's still Will Gollop leading this one now then. Will Gollop leading, but losing that lead once again to Dimi Mavropoulos. Dimi trying to come through on the inside, and I think he's going to squeeze through. He does. He gets alongside and just in front of Will Gollop as they come out of the chicane. Will Gollop there in 2nd place, but Mick Quaife is also closing right in on them now. And Mick Quaife's car now beginning to find reliability and speed, and Mick Quaife really coming in to have a close look as they come down Tumbledown Hill, and Mick Quaife coming into the 2nd position. Gollop now down into 3rd place. Dimi Mavropoulos the leader still. Quaife in 2nd place, Gollop in 3rd, then Colin Richards and a bit of a gap to Roger Newbold, but the 3 4-wheel drive cars absolutely dominating the race now as they come into Druids. With just over a lap to go, it's Dimi Mavropoulos from Mick Quaife. Will Gollop with the Metro 6R4, the V6 4-wheel drive Metro still in 3rd place. But it's Dimi Mavropoulos, very sideways along the knife edge, now beginning to open up a useful cushion over a tremendous battle that's now raging for 2nd place between Quaife and Gollop. Still Gollop with the advantage, but at the moment finding no answer to Dimi Mavropoulos as they come down off the top of onto the Cooper Straight. You'll notice that the Metro Quattro gets very, very sideways indeed. Proof that Will really is trying very, very hard there, but still in second place. And it's Dimi Mavropoulos leading from Will Gollop. Mick Quaid is third. And those three cars go well clear of the rest of the field. Very different approaches being taken by all three drivers into paddock turn, but it's Dimi Mavropoulos still with the advantage. Will Gollop back into second place, and now very, very close. Wave coming with them. Through the S's, up onto Halewood Hill ascent to go up into Druids for the last time. The leaders then coming into the last half lap, and into Druids is Dimi Mavropoulos from Will Gollop and Mick Quaid. Round down the short descent of Graham Hill into Langley's Gap and head towards the checkered flag. And who's it going to be? It's Dimi Mavropoulos from Will Gollop, and that's the way it looks, as though it's going to stay to the checkered flag. Had a very close finish, but it's Mavropoulos from Gollop, with Quaid dropping back a little bit there at the end. And then we see Colin Richards leading home Roger Newbold, but there is the winner, Dimi Mavropoulos. A good win for the black Audi Quattro, as he leads home Will Gollop and Mick Quaid. And Johnny Welsh's car obviously quite seriously damaged at the rear end in that start line shunt. We can see that John is out of the car, perfectly okay, walking around, but the mechanics are giving some attention to it, and it looks as though the rear suspension has been damaged. Back end of the car now coming back down onto the tarmac, and I believe he did in fact lose the offside rear wheel in the incident, and let's hope that it's not going to be too serious, but of course John has now got considerable time to get it repaired. Trevor,
yeah?
You've got a very high quality front row of the grid there.
Yes, very high quality, especially Mark Rennision, who's done very well this year.
Yeah, and a couple of slower cars between them and yourself. How do you feel you've got to start this race?
How am I going to do the start?
Yeah.
Fast as I possibly get.
Yes, I appreciate that. Any tactics?
Yes, I'm going to go to the left-hand side of Barry Wilmot and hopefully get between the Norwegian and Rob Gibson.
I see.
That's what I'm hoping to do, but if not, I should just follow Thor Holmes.
Yeah, well, Thor won't be slow away, will he?
He won't be slow off the start, no.
Okay, well, we wish.
But I've got to be very careful of John Smith on the right-hand side against the wall, where he goes.
I see.
He's going to be my main problem, because he's going to try and stop me cutting between Thor Holmes and Rob Gibson, or possibly he will just follow 66, Mark Rennision.
Okay, Trevor, well, we wish you the best of luck anyway.
Thank you very much, Arthur.
So for the last race of this afternoon, a very high quality grid. Down there on pole position, Mark Rennision in the DSRM RS200. Victory here for Mark could put him back into the lead of the championship. On the centre of the front row of the grid, from Cheshire, Rob Gibson with the two-wheel drive 3-litre Porsche. And then on the outside, our Scandinavian visitor, Thor Holm from Norway, with the RS200, one of 3 RS200s in this race. And as the lights go green, we can see Trevor Hopkins making a very good start there, with our camera coming up into 3rd position. Anyway, a good clean start as we get Thor Holm into 2nd place, but Mark Rennision is the leader. Trevor Hopkins down in 4th behind John Smith. John Smith there in 3rd place with the X-Track. So 3 RS200s in the first 4 cars. Then Rob Gibson blowing smoke in 5th position, ahead of Ivan Mokes, Barry Wilmot and Terry Wright. That's the order as they come out of the S's, but up into Druids there for the first time. And it's Mark Rennision with the Norwegian Thor Holm in 2nd spot. Then comes John Smith from Folkestone with the X-Track, and behind him Trevor Hopkins taking a very tight line round Druids. The 4 four-wheel drive cars taking full advantage of the slippery conditions as power and traction tells, and they begin to open up a useful lead over the other cars, with Mark Rennision himself getting a lead amongst the four-wheel drive machines as he brings the DSRM RS200 over Hockey's Top onto the hard feel of the tarmac. In the lead from Thor Holm in the X-Works Ford rally car. There in 3rd place is still John Smith, with Trevor Hopkins in 4th. That's the order as they come down into the chicane for the first time. There from the cockpit of the Trevor Hopkins car, the 4th place man, very close in now behind Trevor Reeves as Rob Gibson comes through. But it's John Smith in 3rd place, trailing the 2 RS200s. Trevor there still in 4th, taking a fairly wide approach into tumble downhill, but the first four cars coming down now into the hairpin at the bottom of the tumble downhill, and it's still Mark Rennision from Thor Holm. In third place, still John Smith. Holm getting very sideways there as he attacks the lead of Mark Rennision, but now it's John Smith coming through to have a look. John Smith having a look for second place, trying to door handle his way through on the inside of Holm, but it doesn't pay off, and it's still Mark Rennision. Mark Rennision leading from Thor Holm as they come along the knife edge once again. The car's really on the limit of adhesion as the drivers use about 550 brake horsepower to the absolute limit. Four very, very powerful cars pouring their way over the top of Hoppy's drop. Over 2,000 brake horsepower at play here with these four leading cars, and there is Trevor. Note how lightly his hand crisp. Absolute superb car control from the four times British champion as he comes down into the chicane, but we can still see Mark Rennision leading as once again Trevor trails John Smith up to the top of Tumble Downhill. Round paddock turn they come, down Tumble Down, and it is still Mark Rennision from Holm, John Smith, and still Trevor Hopkins there in fourth place. The order doesn't change, but the racing is as close as ever as they go through the S's and away up the ascent of Harewood Hill. We see a very close-up shot there of the Trevor Hopkins car, but it's still Mark Rennision leading. Mark Rennision from Holm, John Smith and Trevor Hopkins. Three RS200s, of course, now outlawed from international rallying, the Group B car, the supercar, which is now finding a new home in the world of rallycross. And it is indeed Mark Rennision coming along the top of the knife edge, and they go into their last lap. All four cars then away into their last lap, all tied together literally with a piece of string. As they come down, we can see Trevor coming over the part of the circuit that's named after him, the famous Hoppy's Drop, named after Trevor Hopkins, the builder of this circuit. And these other drivers, they found their way around it equally as well as Trevor. And in fact, it's Mark Rennision driving a superb race here. The young 24-year-old star from North Yorkshire, and Hoppy there still in fourth place from Ashford in Kent, goes up to the top of Tumble Down, round paddock turn, and down Tumble Down hill once again. And it's still Mark Rennision from Thor Holm. Flame coming from the exhaust there of the Jeter Passions X-Track of John Smith. Right behind him is still the Shell Oils car of Trevor Hopkins, car number 2. And as they come up into Druids for the last time, it's still Mark Rennision very much in command of this race. The 24-year-old driver, destined, we think, for a future in single-seater Formula Motor racing, but in the meantime doing very well in rallycross as he comes through here to take victory in car number 66. In second place, it is going to be Holm from the Jeter Passions X-Track of Smith. Then comes Trevor Hopkins, those four cars well clear of the remainder of the field. And there is our winner, and that is 66 Mark Rennision, who has now put himself back into the lead of the championship.
Indeed he has. Mark Rennision from Yorkshire joining Kent's Will Gollop on 38 points. John Smith moves into third with 34. Dimi Mavropoulos also has 34, and then come Trevor Hopkins and John Waghorn on 31. Moving down, John Welch still in contention with 30, Rob Gibson and Trevor Reeves 29, Terry Sowden 25, Tor Holm has 24, and Tony Bardy, whose Mini was clattered earlier, has 23. And remember, the leading 10 drivers make the final.